are you guys all doing? It is Ball TV. Good to see you and hope to see you again. So I'm just gonna get into quick storytelling. Nothing much. We cannot get to the channel's schedule yet because I'm still busy working on something. Once I'm done, I'll come and then we can resume to regular I guess schedule of this channel. The reason being, I don't like to say what I do until I don't do it or until I do it. Okay. Anyways, let's get to. So we are going to go back to storytelling, and it's gonna be about dreams. So it's gonna be part 3. I don't want to call it Scoopy dreams, but dreams that come true. But this other part 3, I'm just gonna tell you guys because I don't dream only one type of dreams, right? But this particular dream that I wanna talk to you about, I just wanna tell you guys the spiritual realm is real. So let me explain. Dream number 1. I don't know if you guys are ready for this dream. And I'm very sleepy. I need to go to bed. But anyways, we move. Dream number 1. So guys, this dream, I don't know if I ever shared it. Anyways, let me talk. When I was younger, I had this cousin. Guys, if you're African, you know. If you're African, you know. You should know, and you know that families usually sometimes you live with relatives, cousins visit, aunties visit. So my home has always been busy with all kind of visitors, relatives. The home is always busy. So many people. So I had this. I came to realize that she wasn't a relative. She was family friend. So this girl, her mom was traveling out of town, I think for some work, for some work, right? For work, and I think their neighbor, the babysitter that was taking care of them, the babysitter was taking care of, I think, another lady that had given birth. So now the mom came and spoke to my aunt to see if she can stay with us for just a few months until her mom returns. Okay? So anyways, so this girl came to stay with us. And then, of course, I was the youngest in the home at the time. So it so happened that she will share the room with me. And then with us, because there were a few cousins that were staying in the room as well. But she will actually we will share a bed with her, right? And I know some other cousins that were also in the same room, but some people share beds. And then if you are the older cousin, you don't have to share a bed. So being the oldest, usually you had a privilege. Sometimes you actually have your own room, and then so anyways, so this girl moved in to stay with us. Anytime I think of this. So anyways, there's a lesson to this, trust me. So this girl moved in to stay with us, right? Okay, everything was fine. But she had one habit though. I think I was 6 or 7 at the time. I think I was 7 going 8. She had one habit. She used to wet the bed. Wet the bed. You guys know what the bed is. She sleeps and then she'll basically wet the bed. Be in the bed, maybe it's by accident, but bottom line is, every morning, they will send her out with her, to take our mattress out and all that kind of thing. So it was crazy. And I never used to wet the bed, obviously, even though I was the youngest. She was a little bit older than me. And then, of course, other kids in the home will also make fun of her for wetting the bed, right? Okay. And you know how they say that sometimes when it comes to spiritual, there is, and I think someone did say, I think someone on YouTube, I don't know. There was a girl I think I was watching, she was talking about how you need to pray for your children when they are going back to school, because you know what kind of altars some other families are praying onto or whatnot. You don't know what other families, what they believe in. So just to protect your kids, because sometimes even kids can be possessed, right? Okay. I don't know if it's Sandra reality, but I don't know if it's Sandra. I think Sandra said something along that line as well. Anyways, so back to the story. She used to wet the bed, and then they will wake us up in the morning. We have to take the bedding out, the sheets to be washed, and all kind of things, right? So then she never used to be happy that people were making fun of her, right? So in a way, I was her friend. And then one day I told her, but you know what? It was the time that people were making fun of her, right? So I was telling her, you and your bedwetting, actually, it is now getting out of hand, So I'm kind of like, she need to do something about it, right? And then she wasn't happy that I told her that. Anyway, so we went to bed as usual. And then I had a dream. She's waking me up, telling me that, oh, let's go and use the bathroom, because, I don't want to bed wet and people will make fun of her. She doesn't want to, bed wet and people will make fun of her. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go. So in the dream, we went to pee. I went to pee, she peed, and then we came back to bed. But guess what? In the morning when we woke up, I was the one that bedwetted. I'm thinking like, how? I don't bedwet. Then I remember that I had a dream. She woke me up that we should go and, bedwet. Sorry, we should go and use the use the washroom. So anyways, that was so weird. And then, okay. And then in few occasions, right, I kept having that dream. Her waking me up. Alright, so this is there was the weird part that happened. So we were not in our bed yet. So just we had just finished having dinner. People are just, someone was telling us stories, and we were just lying down in the mud, just having fun and all that stuff. And then she was sitting right there. And then I fell asleep. And in that 5 minutes or 2 minutes that I fell asleep, she's telling me that, oh, let's go. Let's go and use the washroom, so that you don't have to bedwet. It is not good. They'll be making fun of you as well. And then people are just sitting. They started seeing water passing through. Then they woke me up like, what are you doing? How are you? Blah blah blah. People are just talking. You just finished eating and you're already bedwetting in this mud. What's wrong with you? I woke up, I'm like, this girl woke me up. And then she was just sitting there when they were now, one of my elder cousin was now, telling me, shouting at me and all that stuff. And she was smiling. She gave that evil smile that I knew that this little girl is not an ordinary girl. Okay. And then now I'm trying to say, like, how do I do it? How should I tell her in my dream so she cannot be telling me this? But I had no clue. But who do I even tell that something is off with this girl? So anyways. And now, this thing actually shifted. I was the one bedwetting and she was not. Every night she would wake me up. Okay. So then one day, I was just I went behind the house. I was just thinking about this thing. I'm like, this girl is not ordinary. There's nobody I can tell. How am I even going to tell? They're going to think because this habit has shifted, now I want to just, say things against her. And then she came and she came. It's like, oh, why are you sitting here? Blah, blah, blah. Don't forget to take the sheet so you and your bedwetting. Then you know what? I don't know why I said it, but I told her, I'm like, you think I don't know? You always wake me to go and for us to use the washroom intentionally so I can bedwet. You think I don't know your plan? She was so shocked. She gave me a shocking look. So, right? So she gave me a very, she was so shocked when I say that. So yeah, I don't know why I say that, but I just told her, I'm like, you know what? You think I don't know your plan? You always wake me up, lying to me that, so that, you know, we can go and use the washroom so we don't bedwet. But then I'm the one, basically it's as if I took over your bedwetting. You think I don't know your plan, blah, blah, blah. So I started just yelling at her, calling her out. And then she started crying and left. And then of course when she was crying at first I was afraid. I'm like, oh, I hope she doesn't go and tell my aunt. So I went back in the house slowly to see. In fact, I was just hiding, you know, behind the door to see if there's going to be any yelling of my aunt will be calling me. She didn't tell my aunt what I told her. And then all of a sudden, she told my aunt that she wanted to go to her house to see if her mom is back. And then my aunt is like, but you've been here for a few weeks. Your mom is not back yet. It's like, no, I'll come back. I want to see if my dad is there. So and their house is not far from us. It's just like across the street, few blocks. And then of course she came with the dad. And the dad, when she came with the dad, and the dad is like, oh, you know what? I'm now at home. The house girl is back. We're just gonna take, let's give her the name Rose. I'm just gonna take Rose with me. And then my aunt is like, this is so abrupt. They're like, yeah. So then they told me to go and bring her stuff. I didn't. I just pretend I didn't hear. I just left. So she's the one that went in our room to pick up her stuff, whatever that she came with. And then I never bedwet. And I think when I was quarreling with her behind the house, I actually told her not to come in my dreams again. I don't know where I got that from, but anyways. So guys, I stopped. The moment this girl left, I stopped bedwetting, and I stopped seeing her in my dreams. I stopped seeing dreams, any other dream, someone waking me up that we should go and use the washroom, before going to bed. So guys, then I come to realize that this girl was not ordinary. Then we started hearing stories that the parents, they are into all kind of diabolical things and all that stuff. But my auntie never took such things very seriously. And then we started telling auntie, you see all these rumors people are saying, why would they allow the daughter to come and stay with us? But anyways, I was so shocked. I'm like, wow, the devil can use such a small girl to do crazy things. Right? I was so shocked, but I'm just like, anytime I used to think about it, I'm like, where did I get that I could tell this girl, don't come in my dream again, and you think I don't know your plan, you keep coming in my dream telling me things. Wow, I was so shocked, but anyways. Dream number 2. Let's move on to dream number 2. Oh my God, I don't know if you guys are ready. Dream number 2. This one is also all another type of a scenario that is linked to a dream. I don't know if I'm remembering the whole story, but I'm just gonna tell you guys what I remember so far. So I was staying at this particular relative's house. And if you guys watch my video, I did tell you, I did make few series of videos of growing up without a parent. So basically, I wasn't brought up with my mom or my dad. You go to those videos, you guys can see what happened. So basically, I ended up staying with very different relatives, basically growing up. And I also say that I basically lived all kind of experience, from very high luxury life, dining with presidents, and also very somewhat life, But anyways, that is still all my story. So yeah, so I was staying in this particular family house. Very, very weird. It wasn't weird. When you are young, you don't make sense of things sometimes when things happen. Okay. So this aunt was the people used to say that she's diabolical. But for me, I don't know. I didn't have any issue. Actually, growing up, I was actually a good kid. I was a good kid growing up. I never caused any trouble. I was helpful. One thing I can remember vividly as a child is I didn't know how to share. When you give me bread or whatever, banana or whatever kind of fruits you tell me to share, I'll divide right in the middle with the people that you want me to give, but then I'll forget myself, and then I'll realize that I didn't save any for myself. Then I'm going to start crying. So it took me a while. I didn't know how to share. When you tell me to share, I will be sharing among everybody, but then forget me, and then I'll start crying because I didn't get anything. Yet I was the one that doing the sharing. Very weird. But anyway, so I was staying at this particular home. Very weird. Just weird occurrences. I don't know. I don't want to go into details because I don't want to be overshare, and probably some of them will come in this video and be like, hey, our secret is out. But anyways, one day, the man of the house traveled. The man of the house traveled. But the auntie that I was staying with, she was suspecting that her husband is cheating. But she cannot put her hands on it. Okay. She will ask him every now and then, you guys are growing up and all that. But we used to love the husband. I still remember anytime he comes home, he used to come with granuts and a lot of candies. So anytime he comes back from work, I remember we all fight to go and, everyone want to carry his briefcase, right? As kids, and then when he gets home, he will see it, and then he will open the briefcase, will give us all the candies that he hid in there, and, some granuts, So it was like such a big thing, like we used to love it. Anytime we hear his car, you will see everyone is running. Everyone want to be the one to, we fight over snatching his briefcase from his hand. So we really, really loved him. But my auntie suspected that he was cheating. There was a time, like when big people are cooking, like in the kitchen, right? And they'll be sending you for errands. Bring the onion, bring this, and there are talks that is going on. As a kid, you cannot put 1 + 1, but you kind of have an idea of what's happening. So it's like, I think he's cheating. Every now and then the husband will be like, oh yeah, he has to travel, he has to do this and all that. Okay. All right, no problem. I had a dream that the husband was dropping us off to school. But usually it wasn't, because at that time I think I was still, I don't know if I was even in elementary school. All I remember, the school I was in, we did a lot of drawing, and we always had breaks and we did a lot of drawing. So I don't think I was far off in class. But, so I had a dream. In this particular dream, he was giving us a ride to school. And then, few blocks from our house, exactly 2 or 3 blocks. Oh my God, this dream. Hey, are you guys ready for this dream? 2 blocks from our house. That is in my dream. He went and picked up this lady, very beautiful lady. So in my dream, I was telling my cousin, this woman looks familiar. I think she looks familiar. And then my cousin is like, yeah, of course she's familiar. You don't see, we just picked her up. She's our neighbor. Very beautiful lady. I still remember she was very, very beautiful. So anyways, so she picked this lady, and then they went and dropped us off to school, and then I don't know where they went. I have no idea. But anyways, every now and then I'll have this dream. And then one day I told my aunt, then, because I started in the dream, so anytime I dream, that dream kept coming, repetitive dream, right? So I told myself that, you know what? I told my cousin in the dream, I'm like, you know what? We need to try to... So anyways, as I was saying earlier, I kept having this repetitive dream. My uncle going to pick this neighbor, few blocks from us. Very beautiful girl. When he's dropping us to school, we have to go and pick her up. She'll drop us to school, and then maybe he drops her to work. I don't know. I keep seeing that in the dream. Then I told my cousin in the dream, we need to pay attention to this, which house exactly this woman is coming from. Because anytime, I don't seem to know which house. Okay. I remember staying with my auntie. My uncle never dropped us to school, never. It's only in my dream that I see him dropping us. So this particular day, my auntie wasn't feeling well. And I don't know, he sent the driver to an errand. The driver, we don't know what happened. The driver was nowhere to be seen and we are getting late. So my auntie told my uncle, it's like, you know what, drop these kids to school because I don't know what happened to this yeye driver. We sent him since and he's not back yet, so these kids will be late for school. My uncle's like, well, I'm getting late to work too, blah, blah. My auntie's like, no, please, there's no other car. Please, just drop them on your way to school. My uncle's like, fine. So, of course, we got into the car. And, you know, as usual, we used to fight over who's going to sit in the front seat. My uncle's like, no, nobody sit in the front seat. Everybody sit in the back. I'm taking you guys just because of your auntie, because I'm even running late. Then you are like, okay. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, we drop few blocks. My uncle stops the car. Beautiful lady, the same girl I saw in my dream. Oh my God, I should have drawn her if I was a good artist. And then my uncle's like, this is my friend. I'm just going to drop her to work. She's on the way. We're like, okay. The very beautiful girl that I saw in my dream is now sitting in the front seat of my uncle's car. And then the moment my uncle dropped us off, so I was telling my cousin. My cousin was so playful that I don't even know if she remembers. She never paid attention to my nonsense dreams, that girl. So I told her, you know the dream I've been telling you about? This is the girl that I saw. She's like, no. Okay. And then another time my auntie also, I think another time also, she asked our uncle to drop us. And then my uncle was so upset. Oh, you want to make it a habit for me to drop these kids to school? Please don't disturb me. Have your driver be dropping these kids to school. And then this time one of my cousin with big boy with a big mouth. My uncle, so we are now three, me and my cousin and another cousin, a boy. Big mouth, that boy. He still is a big mouth. He lives in London now, UK. So my uncle picks up, we go to my uncle's car again to drop us to school. My uncle pull up at that neighbor again, pick up that girl. All right, so when we got home, after school, of course after school is the driver that picks us up. And then my cousin, the boy with big mouth, auntie. Today when uncle was taking us to school, another beautiful lady, my uncle also picked her up. Beautiful lady. She stays in whatever house that he mentioned. My auntie was livid. Remember, my auntie was suspecting that my uncle was cheating. So my auntie goes to my uncle's paper, document, folders, computer. It wasn't really this type of computer. It wasn't this. It was one of those old day computers. Probably first generation computer. I don't know if people still use it. And then she found a picture of that lady. She calls us. Is this the girl that your uncle was picking up in the morning? For me, I don't want to say, I don't want to get into trouble. Remember, Anytime uncle is coming from work, we are getting candies and granite. Me, to report, to snitch on my uncle, it's not happening. Of course, our cousin brother, that one, the boy with big mouth. Yes, yes, auntie, that is him, that is him, that is him. That is her, sorry. My uncle was livid now, my auntie was livid now, my auntie was upset, waiting for my uncle to come. And then my auntie was like, this man. And so me, I went to my auntie. I said, auntie, our cousin brother is right. We infuse, and I think anytime uncle gives us a ride, we also pick that woman. She's very beautiful, actually. But I don't think you should confront uncle, because the girl doesn't live far from here, right? Why don't you just make a plan to follow and just make sure you see them red-handed? Because he might just say he's helping a stranded person. And then my aunt is like, this child, you're always talking like an old woman. Oh, this old woman, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm like, yeah. Then I was like, I started laughing. I said, auntie, actually, you know what? I've been seeing her in my dream too. And then I confirmed it when uncle gave us a ride. Yeah, I used to see. Then and it's like, you and your dream, just get out of here, go find something to do. Because my aunt is upset now, waiting for my uncle. And then my auntie's mother-in-law were also visiting. So my auntie's mother-in-law overheard my auntie yelling, and then the mother-in-law went and talked to her. It's like, you know what? Don't confront your husband, especially not today. There are visitors, the house is full, blah, blah, blah. You should find another way to try to make sure that he's actually cheating. But you cannot confront my son. That's what the mother-in-law is like. You have no evidence. Okay. My auntie kept quiet. So now, all of a sudden, I don't know how my uncle found out. All of a sudden, when he drops us to school, he doesn't pick up the lady. I don't know how she gets her ride now. However, apparently, every night at a particular time, my uncle will leave to say there's something that he needs to finish at work that he didn't finish. There's a project, there is a meeting, there is something at a particular time. And then there was a cousin that was visiting. Now the cousin told my aunt, it's like, why disturbing yourself? You can hire a private investigator or even follow the guys up. Have somebody follow them until you see where they are, then you can come. They said, all right. So now my auntie turned into a mission of catching cheating husband. And then he said one day the husband was going out, blah, 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 as usual. And then this relative also just started following him behind with the car. And then they just saw that he went and picked that lady. And they went to the hotel. What meeting are you having at the hotel? But I was very young, so I don't even know how that ended. But the point is, I had dreamt about that lady. I ended up seeing that lady. And my auntie did find some pictures, according to her, of that lady with my uncle. So I don't know what happened. Because then now, anytime they are following up with this discussion, us kids are sent away. So I don't know what happened. But bottom line is, I saw that in my crazy dreams. But anyways, dream number 3. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Dream number 3, guys. I was saying at the lecture, and then convenience store. And then in that convenience store, in the dream, I dreamed that the morning of the dream, I went to the convenience store. I don't know, to buy some stuff and all that stuff. And then the weird thing that happened is, everything that I saw exactly in my dream, including what I went to buy, is the same thing that I needed the following day. Until I was like, oh my God, is the flood happening today or what, you know? But anyways, so I just prayed. I'm like, you know what? This is how true it is. That dream was so real that I had to move out of Lakeshore. I basically relocated. I relocated. And then a few years later, then they were like, oh, you know, they need to build some barricades around so people don't really go to the water, blah, 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 because of, you know, they are anticipating rising tides, blah, 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 blah. And few years when I go to the lake, there were actually barricades way up. So based on when I try to remember what my dream was, and then with whatever they built, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I think this is going to be good. They did a good job because based on the flood that I saw and based on what they built, so the homes are going to be safe, so people won't be flooded. Then I'm like, wow, did someone in the government saw my dream and decided to do this? But anyways, so that was it. So I was like, okay, that is it with the dreams, right? Okay. Still right there, and then I had another dream. Then I had another dream that the convenience store, someone was cooking, someone left something on, and that thing was touching fire, and the fire was actually trying to burn the whole convenience store. And then in the dream I saw it was the time the fire was happening was 11 minutes after 11. I'm like, what's going on? So anyways, by around 5 minutes after 11, I'm like, you know what? Let me go to the convenience store just in case there's any fire or something, so at least I can tell them in advance. When I go to the convenience store, there were 2 people ahead of me. But then we are smelling smoke. When I looked at the time, 7 minutes after. And then 8 minutes after, we are seeing the fire caught one side of the store. So we alert the person. And the person was busy speaking Gujarat on the phone to someone we don't know in Bangladesh. We started yelling. And then the person on the line wasn't seeing because his headset was on trying to ring customers. And then we started yelling, look. Fire. When I looked at the time, 11 exactly, the side of the store was already blown on fire. So of course we had to help them put out the fire and all that stuff. Then I'm like, okay, this dream, it looks like it meant that I need to help them save that place from burning down. But I'm like, okay, what I dreamt, but then this thing is happening in real life. I'm like, it's so weird because I lived, my condo is very close. The fact that 5 minutes after 11, I'm like, no, let me go to the convenience store, let me go, you know? And then the weird part is, when I go to the convenience store, I remembered what I was wearing was the same thing I was wearing in the dream. And then when we started smelling the smoke and all that stuff, and the people I saw in my dream, they were the people also in the convenience store. Very weird. It's like you are going to the future, but then you are still in the present. I have no idea. And then they was like, oh my God, thank you so much. How did you know? At that point, I was like, that's my cue to leave. So I left. I didn't buy anything. I had money on me just to buy something. I'm like, this is too crazy. But I'm like, well, at least this place didn't burn down. It is saved before it got burned. I'm like, God, what kind of freaking dreams are these? But anyways, moving on. Dream number 4. Dream number 4, guys. Let's go. Dream number 4. Dream number 4. I had a dream. At that time, I was still in St. Catherine. I had a dream that this African artist was visiting Toronto and all that, and some of my friends was like, oh, you know what? We should go to the show. We need to attend, blah, blah, blah. Then I was telling them in the dream, guys, we have exams. What do you mean we're going to a show? What show? Anyways. And then they told me that, you know what, let's go, guys. It's actually good to refresh your mind from exam, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That was a dream, right? Okay. And then I was coming to dining to go and eat with my friends that were meeting up to go and eat at a dining, blah, 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 cafeteria at school. Two of my friends told me that, oh, Soraya, did you see the news? I'm like, what news? They're like, it's in the blogs everywhere. I'm like, what? They mentioned that particular African artist that is visiting Toronto. It's like, girl, we need to go. And then the weekend that this person is coming, on Monday following is midterm. So I'm telling them, guys, that's not even making sense. You guys want us to go to Toronto to go and watch this artist. And then on Monday, on Monday we have exams. How is that making sense? But the weirdness of it is the same thing that I saw in my dream is replaying itself. Then I told them, anyways, guys, I saw it in my dream that you guys were going to talk to me about this. Like, of course, so what did you say in the dream? Are we going or we are not going? I'm like, I don't know. You guys decide. So they say, yeah, let's go, guys. Let's go. It's actually, he has two shows. The artist has a show on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they're like, no, let's go on Saturday, maybe Friday after classes or Saturday morning. That way we can just come back late Saturday. I said, okay. So I told him, yeah, I'll let you guys know for sure. And then I had a dream. I had a dream that we went to the event, but there was an accident. It wasn't nothing serious when we were returning. It wasn't nothing serious. And I remember in the dream, we stopped and prayed. Okay? Hold on, don't go anywhere, hold on. Okay guys, continuing on with dream number 4. Okay, so we had already planned that, okay, we'll go on a Saturday. And then I had a dream. And I think we had all these chats, I think it was Thursday, when we were doing all this discussion. Then I had a dream that there was an accident when we were coming back. It wasn't nothing serious, so we prayed. We stopped the car and prayed, and then everything was good, and then we proceeded. Then I'm like, man, what kind of dream is that? Accident. So I told them that, guys, when we were going, because I had a car, so I told them, guys, when we were going, so, well, not in my dream now, when we met for dinner again, I said, guys, let's just take the bus. Because now I'm trying to avoid small car, because in the dream I dreamed that we had an accident. But now, how can I tell them that there was an accident? And they know me for dreaming things that happen. So then I told them that, you know what, guys, let's use the Greyhound or Coach Canada or whatnot, but let's not use a small car. They said, fine. So we used the bus. Then I'm like, okay, so bus is good, because I didn't see bus in my dream, so yeah. So of course we went to the concert. We were so happy we took the bus. And then coming back, because what we did is, we thought that we don't know if this is gonna end late, so we didn't wanna buy a return ticket. So we just say one way, and then when we are coming back, we can always just buy. All right. So once the show is done, and then now we went to get a ticket. And I think 2 of the girls remained. I think 2 or 3. 3 of them remained in Toronto. Only 2 of us were going back to St. Catherine. And then they were like, you know what, guys? We went to get tickets, and there were no tickets. And there were no tickets. And one of my friend's brother lives here. And then the brother would say that, you know what, I'm coming to St. Catherine next week. You guys can use my car. I was like, God, what kind of temptation is this? I didn't tell this girl that I had a dream. There was an accident. So I was like, okay. So I told her, since we are stuck and we can't really stay at the brother's house, because the brother is a bachelor, But then he has his friends there, so the place is full. And I didn't know anybody in Toronto at the time. And students, so we didn't have a lot of money to be staying in a hotel. So the best thing for us is to go back to St. Catherine that same Saturday, and that was like 2 or 3 a.m. We were trying to return to St. Catherine. So we had no choice now to use the brother's car. We started driving. I just told her, let's pray. We prayed. Started driving. But she was very good. She was a very prayerful friend too. And she's one of those friends that she used to love to club. She will go party and everything, but she will not, even though she's going to bed at 3 a.m., she's not going to miss church because she's in the choir. So she was very dedicated like that. And then, when we are now a few kilometers away to St. Catherine, we don't know where this car came from. Was driving anyhow. She has to swerve the car to try to dodge the guy. And we didn't fall too much in a ditch, but our car just went in a corner and stopped. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I hope the car starts. It wasn't a bad accident. Nobody was hurt. So we started to pray. Then I told her, you know what? Let's start the car a little bit just to make sure that the car is okay. So we started, and it was close to a highway too. And there was nobody. So we started the car started. I was like, you know what? It's gonna be fine. We'll get home. So we prayed. And then I told her, I didn't want to scare you guys, but I actually saw it in my dream that this accident was going to happen. It's like, okay, so I hope in that dream we made it home safely. I'm like, yeah, I didn't see the end of it. All I knew it was an accident. But it wasn't anything serious. And we got in an accident, it wasn't anything serious. The weird thing is the car I saw in the dream is exactly looked like this one. So she started laughing. She's like, you know what, girl? Let's go. So we've prayed and we got to St. Catherine. And then when we go to the main taxi area, I just told her, you know what? You just drive home. Let me take a taxi home because it's already getting really late. So there's no need. Unless if you want to come and spend the night in my place. She's like, no. She has church in the morning. I said, okay. The difference between me and her is, me, if I don't get enough sleep, it is impossible to wake up in the morning. But I love her commitment. No matter how late she goes to bed, she will still make it to church. So anyways, I took the taxi to take me home. And then she took the car. She drove her brother's car. So the essence, maybe we are not supposed to drive the car, I feel like it. If we had just stuck to bus, we are okay. But then there was no tickets, But anyway, so I kind of learned to listen to my dream when we are making any major decisions. Because, crazy things are happening. Moving on, guys, to dream number 5. So dream number 5. Dream number 5. This particular place I've been applying jobs for, trying to apply. Right after I had finished school, that was here in Canada. I was applying. I kept applying for jobs. This particular company that I really loved, I thought right after school I would get a position with them. They actually started a not-for-profit organization. I was one of the main people that wrote all the projects for them and something for the city, like in St. Catherine. So I really wanted to work with them. And I did a lot of things, But anyway, every time I'm applying, I'm like, these people are always hiring. How come nobody's, accepting my application? What's going on? I look at my resume, try to fix my resume again, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then I'm like, and plus, I helped the organization so much. They were able to get funding, and I was the one doing most of the writing for them. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I had a dream. In that dream, I dreamed that I applied for a position for that company as usual, and this time they called me for an interview. This question doesn't really come in an interview, but I don't know why I asked it in my dream in the interview. So I said, I asked them, I was like, this is just gonna be a little bit off the topic. I want to know. I'm one of the contributors of putting people that put the organization on the map until it was able to get funding and everything. And I've been trying to apply for position for a very long time. You guys always have opening. Nobody was able to accept my resume or even call me for one interview. What's going on? And they're like, you know what? The director, they said something about the director. And the director said, you know, because of the quota of the people they're hiring, I think they already have one black person. And so basically the quota is filled. Minority is filled. So unless if I was Francophone, Aboriginal, then, or someone from the LGBT community, then they will be able to consider. So they were telling me in that dream that, you know what, calling you for an interview and knowing that you're not going to get it doesn't make sense. So I'm like, oh. Then I was like, okay, we are still continuing with dream number 4. Then I was like, okay, that's fair. If the quota is already filled, then they can't hire me. That's fine. I get it. I understand. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. That was in the dream. And then now in the reality, I'm like, you know what? Since I already got my answers, why am I applying? And then one day I went to Tim Horton, not in dream. I went to Tim Horton and I met one of the directors. Oh, hi, blah, blah, blah. Hey, hi, how are you? Good. And then I was telling her, I was just telling her jokingly, I was like, I was just wondering, because, you know me, we work together. I was one of the contributors, one of the writers, the brain behind putting this not-for-profit organization. You now have funding and everything from the city, and I really wanted to work with you guys. But anytime I put my resume, I don't hear anything back. Is everything okay? Guys, you want to know what she told me? She's like, we've been seeing your resume and it's not like we don't want to hire you. It's just like the quota of minority is filled. Unless you are LGBT or Francophone or, you know, Aboriginal for the Indians, Métis, then unfortunately you cannot get it. Then I'm like, how? But I was one of the brain behind everything. She's like, yeah, but at the time we are hiring, you are still in school. So unfortunately the time is not right. But if someone quits or resign, I'm going to be the first person they'll have as a priority to hire. But the funny thing is, I was so shocked because she told me exactly what I saw in my dream. I was like, wow. I was like, God, what kind of tricks are you playing? Like, what's going on? So that was quite shocking. Absolutely shocking that she will say that. But back then, people can say that freely. Like right now, you cannot say such things, you know. Back then, especially in St. Catherine. St. Catherine was a small city. I remember one of my friend, she went to apply in the mall, and they just told her, no, sorry, we cannot hire you, you are too dark. So back then it was normal. They'll just say things, whether it is a stereotype, whether it is, it just comes out, and it is like it was normalized, and it's nothing, and people move on, right? But anyway, so hearing that from the dream and hearing it live, I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God. Anyways, moving on. Dream number 5 for this. But anyhow, I was staying with this particular family back home. And I told you guys that I've lived with different relatives because I wasn't brought up with my parents, right? Yeah. So, I was staying in this particular relative's house. And then one of the children was very sick. They tried all kind, and it was at night. They tried all kind of medication. What's going on with this child? They tried everything. The child can't sleep. Then they're like, okay. And this thing has been happening every time, every night. The child cannot sleep. Every night the child will be crying. And if you guys stayed back home, it's very common. Children will have their room, right? But when visitors come, relatives come, they'll ask the children to leave their room so that the visitors can use their room, right? Very common. So these particular relatives were visiting, so they let them use the kids' room, to sleep. But the child wasn't comfortable sleeping ever since. Everybody thought that maybe the child is not comfortable because it's not the child's bed, right? So people tried everything. What's going on with this child? What's going on with this child? I wasn't staying there per se. When I was back home, when I was younger, because I lived with different relatives, right? So anytime school closes, another relative will ask them
Dream number 6.
So I was there just on a temporary basis for school holiday. So I got in the middle of that, and all those visitors that were coming were already there. And it's very common back home if you are a minister, I don't know, a big public figure or whatnot, someone that is known, king, and my background, I come from a royal family. So the house is always full with people, and I love it. Ever since I was young, I love it. Anytime I see visitors come, I'll be so happy. I love the visitors, and I love that our house was always filled with people, because for me it meant I had a lot of more kids to play with, right? So anyways, this child is not sleeping. So when I go there for my school holidays, I was asking my cousin, what's going on? They're like, we don't know what's going on. Ever since so-and-so relatives visited, they are now using the kids' room. The kids are now sleeping with the other kids' room, but this particular baby cannot sleep. Okay. I had a dream. You guys are not ready. You are not ready. I had a dream. I had a dream that these the visitors that I visited, doing diabolical things in the compound, dancing and all that stuff. But then, when they are doing that, the baby's closing his ears. It's like a loud sound. What kind of dream is this? I woke up. I'm like, what kind of dream is this? What are these people doing to these kids at night? They can't do that, because during the day, the child is fine. And they are playing with the child loves them, running to them, you know. The parents will be feeding the child. The child will refuse to eat the food from the parents, want to eat with those people, the relatives that are visiting. What's going on? But me also, I'm not like knowledgeable like right now. I was still young, right? Innocent and still not understanding a lot of things. Hold on 1 second. Okay, guys, let's continue to dream number 6. I don't. If there are small kids watching, I'm gonna give you guys few minutes. Just please take away the kids. Take away the kids. Dream number 6. Some of you know that I attended boarding school. Back home, it is very common for kids to attend boarding school. Some boarding school starts as early as 4 years. And some boarding sometimes as early as 4 years, some as early as 6 or 8. So I was in boarding school, but now I was in high school, boarding school. So I'm sure you guys can attest to the fact that whether in high school or universities, there are couples that, you know, we had like these lovely couples. We used to call them first ladies, first lady and, you know, first lady and the president, even though the boyfriend wasn't a school president or anything. But anyways, it's because they look good, so they look so good together. And some people even hate the fact that they look too good together. But we love that they looked so good together. It's just like Mr. and Mrs. in high school. So anyway, so let me assume that the kids are out of here. Now let's get to the point of the dream. Before I get to the dream, so let me just give you guys a background of this two couple in high school. Because my boarding school was a mixed, mixed school. The boys' dormitory was in a different building, but we both meet at the school assembly, and the main, how should I put it? Main school administration, where the classes and everything is on the girls' side, right? So anytime if they are coming to classes, it's everything is on the girls' side. So anyways,
dream number 7.
Anyway, so of course in high school there is a talk of someone's losing their virginity, some are not losing their virginity, people are waiting, people are not waiting. So anyways, and me and my group, like, there's different cliques in high school. My clique, I was a bookworm. I was always on top of the class, and everybody wanted to be in our group because we do a lot of study, a lot of, revision work, all subjects and all that. So nearly our group is usually dead, but when exams is around the corner, everyone want to come in our group so that, they can do some studies and prep for exams, right? So I don't know why this particular time there's a talk of, virginity stuff. Anyways, so these two couples, because they wanted to lead by bad example, well, I could say it now, leading by bad example, one day this girl comes to say that her and the boyfriend broke up. How? You guys cannot break up? You guys are a perfect couple. Perfect couple are not allowed to break up. And there is no rush. You guys can wait until, you get married. But apparently, they went and did the deed. And then the guy broke up with her. And I think she found some letters. Apparently, all he wanted was that's what he wanted. But the moment he got it, he was moving on to another girl. So it was such a big thing, like huge rumor in school, until I think teachers get to know it. And, there was some people collected woto. Some people collected punishment, disciplinary, and all kind of things. But anyways, so now that I've set the background for you guys, now let me get to my dream. So then I had a dream. In my dream, I saw this girl went to do some sort of voodoo stuff, some diabolical stuff on the guy. And then apparently the guy lost his voice and his eyesight. The guy could not see anymore. That is in the dream. And then in the dream, I was standing on a corner looking at everything as if it's a video. And then when she was now leaving after doing all the diabolical stuff, then I asked her, why are you doing this? He said that, you know what, I'm doing it because, you know, we were supposed to be together forever. And then he convinced me for us to do the do. And now he's dumping me for another girl, so I'm not going to let him go scot-free. And then I woke up. Then I'm like, what's wrong with my dream? This dream doesn't make sense. This thing is no news now. Everybody at school was already talking about it, right? Everyone was talking that they broke up, but we really didn't know that they broke up. But some people were making assumption that maybe they broke up because they do, and the guy is not interested anymore. That was part of the rumor anyways that was circulating. Anyways, while we're at it, I was like, this thing doesn't make sense. So I spoke to one of my friends. I'm like, listen, our first lady, did you know exactly why they broke up? He's like, nobody really know why they broke up, but we are all praying for them to get back together anyways, because they look good together. But the rumor that is kept circulating is that they do, and the guy is not interested anymore on her because he's now moving on with someone else. Then I'm like, and how about the girl? Did she actually say that that's what happened? They're like, no, she didn't really say. She just, was saying that they broke up or something. Okay. I didn't bother. We were preparing for exams and all that stuff. Second time I had the same dream. Third time I had the same dream. So I went and I told my friend, I'm like, you know what? I don't think you'll understand, but me and my crazy dream, but this dream doesn't make sense. This is what I dreamed. Then he's like, so what was in the dream? I'm like, well, from what I saw in the dream is that the guy lost his voice and he's actually blind. And apparently it is a diabolical thing that the girl did. He's like, you know what? I know your dreams are crazy, but anyways, people are saying that he's sick, so he hasn't been in school for a very long time. The parents came to pick him up. I'm like, oh, okay. And then now we used to call winter. Winter is when we wake up after dinner, we'll go and take a nap. And then we wake up for winter. We used to call it winter. I don't know why we call it winter, because it was very cold. We will wake up like around 11:30, 12 to go study up to 3 a.m. and then go back to sleep. So anyways, so now I'm like, okay. I was like, you know what, let's find out, try to find out. But in high school, I was quiet. But I had a huge entourage. So if I wanted to find out something, I'm not the one that goes to find out. I send my people. I'll send my people to go find out what is happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're not ready for this. So they went and found out. They looked for his best friend, and the best friend is like, oh, we just came from the hospital to see him. What is happening? They're like, you know what? Nobody knows what happened. A few weeks ago, he woke up. He lost his voice, and he is technically blind. So the doctors are trying to figure out what is happening, and the mom is trying to send him to London for further treatment. And when the best friend was talking, we were in class, right? It was just after class, when the teacher leaves and people start talking, just having like casual discussion, that's what we were doing. My friend looked at me. I looked at my friend. I was like, so the guy cannot talk. And the guy is blind. the parents are trying to send him to London. Then I'm like, in my dream, I saw the girl, or rather who's now the ex, doing all kind of voodoo stuff. And when I asked her, why are you doing all this? He said, well, because he broke up with me and took away, I guess, Anyways, guys. So anyways, as I was saying, his best friend just blabbed out loud in the class. Oh yeah, he was sick. He's been sick since few weeks ago. He lost his voice and he's blind. The doctors cannot understand what's wrong with him. They are planning to send him to London for further treatment. So my friend looked at me and I looked at her. I didn't know what to say. She didn't know what to say. And that was one of my very talkative friends. So she never shut up, that girl. She never shut up. She's now, she's in Tanzania. She's teaching. She's one of a professor at a school in Tanzania. The girl is loud, but she couldn't say a word. I was like, she looked at me and I looked at her. Anyways, so we had to take our recess. When we went outside, she's like, Soraya, you and your crazy dreams. What are we going to do with that information? I was like, nothing. It's just a dream. Just because I had it 2-3 times doesn't mean anything. It's like, no, this your dream must mean something. I was like, girl, don't do anything stupid. I know you. Don't do anything stupid. Okay? I warn you. So I went back to class. I was doing other things and going on with my life. Apparently, rumors has been circulating that my dream, this my friend with her big mouth was telling people about my dream. And then it so happened that parents will be visiting once a month, right? And during that visitation time, the brother came in, the guy's brother that is now going blind, the parents came to see him. The younger brother was also going in the school. And the guy's best friend went to say hi to the parents. And as he was going to say hi to the parents, my friend with the big mouth, we kind of all knew that he had a crush on the guy. But anyways, he had a crush on the guy's best friend anyways. So they were going to say hi to the boy that is going blind, the president that is going blind, where we call him president. So of course, her and her big mouth, hey, mom, you're welcome, blah, blah, blah. The mom is asking how school is good, and then is asking about the president. Like, no, he's still blind. We are now finishing preparation to send him to London. He's like, ma, there's something I need to tell you. It's nothing, but you should know. He's like, what's going on? He's like, your son and this particular girl, let's call the girl Mary. Your son and Mary were a couple and everybody loved them at school. He's like, yeah, I heard that they broke up. He's like, yeah, they broke up because, I can't really tell you the reason that they broke up, but I want to tell you about this girl in our school that dreams, and anytime she dreams, she actually dreams of something that happens. Then it's like, the mom is like, don't be silly, it's all dreams now. Why do you want to tell me about the dream? It's like, well, this girl, a few weeks before your son fell sick, she had a dream that your son's ex-girlfriend was doing some diabolical things. She saw it in the dream, and that diabolical things led to your son losing his voice and losing his sight. But then a few weeks later, we are finding out that your son is in the hospital, lost his voice and lost his sight. Now, auntie, it is nothing, or it is just a dream, or just that this girl, anytime she dreams, that dream of hers happens. Then it's like, go call her. It's like, no, I cannot go call her because she told me not to tell anybody. No, go call her. If you don't call her, I'm going to go see the head teacher right now. So I'm busy doing my prep. My friend comes. I'm like, girl, you look funny. What's happening? Did a ghost slap you or something? He's like, no, don't kill me, or you told me not to say anything, or and I warned her. I'm like, yeah, I told you not to say anything, but you still said it. Technically, everybody in the school now know about the dream. Why can't you just shut your mouth? He's like, well, the problem is bigger than this. I was like, what? He's like, well, I kind of told his mom. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I kind of told the mom about the dream you had. So she's kind of calling you. I'm like, no, I'm not even coming. I'm not here. He's like, well, because if you don't come, she says she will go to the headmaster. I was so pissed at this girl. I was so pissed. But anyways, I said, let's go. I pushed her head. So we started going. And then the mom asked me. I'm like, yeah, auntie, it is just a dream. I usually have this kind of dreams. And then she was asking that, and this your dream, do they come true? I'm like, sometimes, yeah, and most of the time. Sometimes when I dream something, it's something that happened. But I'm not saying this is what's happened to your son, or maybe it's just a coincidence. Then I was like, auntie, but I have to go. I have school. I have school assignment to finish. She's like, yeah. So the auntie's like, hey, you know what? Thank you for telling me. So now, auntie is like, you know what? She's gonna go home. Before they go to London, they want to go look for a strong man of God to figure out what's going on. Because they all thought, they're one of those upper class people, and his dad was a minister. So like upper class, they don't really into all these diabolical things, and but the mom like took it personally. Look, the love of a mother. Sometimes when something happens to your child, you want to go all out to seek all kind of solution as far as possible, right? So apparently the mom, this is now what the best friend was telling us. So apparently the mom went home and told her mother. They started carrying the guy from one pastor to another, until they found another strong man of God. The man of God explained to them that yes, the ex-girlfriend did some diabolical stuff, and this is what. But the resolution is very simple. He need to apologize to her, and she need to forgive, because there is nothing they can do. She's looking for apology, so he need to make it right by her. Ladies and gentlemen, they started looking for the girl. The girl was nowhere to be found, because she found out about the dream. To remember, the rumor was circulating in school. They switched school. They were looking for this girl. And I think even by the time that we were graduating, they still could not find her. And then we were like, then my friend now, and I think during that time we've already graduating. I think I was now volunteering with the United Nations. I hadn't started any plan for Canada, but I was volunteering with the United Nations. So I was just trying to be in touch with my talkative friend that, can't shut her mouth. I was just like, girl, what is going on? What is going on? Please find out what's happening. She's like, Mel, they cannot find a girl. Then okay. And I had a dream. You see this life, people can be wicked. People know how to be wicked and get a PhD master's in wickedness. Let's go to my dream. So I had a dream. That I was traveling. I was in this plane traveling. I don't know where I was flying to. And I saw the girl in a plane. I'm like, girl, long time no see. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. Did you graduate? She told me in the dream that yes, I graduated. I switched school. I'm like, but people are looking for you. Your ex, the parents were looking for you, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, they're looking for me, but they cannot find me. They should pay for what their son did to me. Then I'm like, so where are you traveling now? She's like, I'm traveling to Johannesburg. Apparently, she got a job in a particular university. Did she share? It was a common university. University of South Africa, UNISA. University of South Africa, something along that line. So what she told me in the dream that she got a job in UNISA. Then I'm like, okay. And then the dream, but I just opened the door and then left, like just left. Weird dream, and I woke up. I'm like, huh? What kind of dream? Then I called my friend, the talkative. I'm like, you know what? I had a dream about that girl. Oh, in a plane. I saw her in a plane. I don't know where we are flying to, but she did tell me. Okay, girl. So ladies and gentlemen. So I of course I had a dream that I met this girl, the first lady, the president's girlfriend from high school. I had a dream that we were in a plane, and I was asking her, girl, where have you been? What's going on? She said she's doing well. Then I was like, well, your ex and the parents were looking for you. And she's like, no. After they assigned it to me, what they assigned it to me, he needs to pay for what he did. Then I was like, okay, so where are you flying to? So she told me the dream. She's flying to South Africa. She got a job with the University of South Africa, so UNISA. So that's where she's traveling to. Then I'm like, okay, don't be a stranger, let's be in touch. She's like, okay. And then in the dream, I just saw myself opening the plane door and leaving. And I woke up, I'm like, what kind of dream is that? I cannot wait for the plane to land. Why am I just, leaving like that? But anyway, so then I called the girl, my talkative friend. I'm like, girl, I had a dream. But before I tell you the dream, did they find the girl? Did you speak with the family or anybody? She's like, yes, I spoke with president's best friend, and the president's best friend is like, they still cannot locate the girl. I'm like, anyways, it is just a dream, or I don't think it's gonna mean anything. In my dream, I met her in a plane. She got a job in South Africa. So the university, she told me, she said she's going to UNISA. She got a job to teach there. So I'm not telling you guys to go to South Africa, it's just a dream, I'm just telling you. Maybe she's somewhere in South Africa, not the exact university. She's like, you know what, girl? Actually, I was speaking to one of our friends, and she was telling me that she got married to this Zulu guy in South Africa, and she was saying that this girl was gonna attend her wedding because she got a job in a university in South Africa. I'm like, shut up. It's like, no, I'm telling you. Then I'm like, anyways, just keep this dream between you and me, which I know you're not going to, but this is not gonna mean anything. And of course, that my talkative friend called the guy, the best friend of president, told the best friend of president, guess what? You guys probably need to go to UNISA, University of South Africa, because this girl that dreams, she just dreamt, or she said that the girl got a job at the University of South Africa. The dad was still a minister now. The dad is a minister, so they have connection. Delegates travel all over Africa all the time. So ladies and gentlemen, this thing is like a movie. Talk of dream trying to solve a crime. I don't know how to call it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, the family traveled to South Africa. The mom went to UNISA. They looked for her. And the dean was like, yes, we have such stuff. We will go and call her, blah, blah, blah. When they went and called, it was her. And the mom went with the son. So they started begging. The son was like kneeling down, forgive us, forgive us. Sorry for what I did, blah, blah, blah. I was young and stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then the girl asked for water. They brought water. Well, this is what the best friend was telling my friend. They brought water. She said whatever it is that she was saying in the water, splash some water on the guy and the mom and wherever they're just splashing waters anyhow. And then just like a miracle, his voice came up back. He regained his sight. But the only sad story about all this is, of course, the guy did not graduate. because he was too stressed, too depressed to even learn any skill of, start to study or do something. So he didn't graduate. So basically, he had to go back to high school to try to complete his school. But this one, the girl graduated and now got a job now at a university in South Africa. So when my friend called me, it was like a movie. He's like, you know what, we just want to say thank you. Then I'm like, who's that in the background? Because remember I told you guys that my friend had a crush on this president's best friend. He's like, well, then he introduced himself. I'm like, what are you doing with my friend? Didn't you know that this girl had crush on you? You want trouble? He's like, oh yeah, sorry, we are now engaged. Okay. So anyways, and then she was telling me that, oh, president's mom want to meet me, blah, blah, blah. They want to thank me. I'm like, no, I don't do that. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophetess. I'm not nothing. I'm just a girl that dreams when someone is going through something, and then I'll dream about it. I don't know why. I cannot explain it to you. I cannot break it to you, and I don't have answers to that. Capish? But ladies and gentlemen, that is how this high school drama concluded. And if there's any learning out of this is the fact that you have to be very careful with people. Be careful with people. Be careful with people's daughters. Be careful with people's sons. Be careful what you do to someone else. Because some people are just wicked. Can you imagine what she did to this guy? The guy could not graduate high school. Lost his voice, blind, dealing with depression. The parents are going from one place to another to try to find a solution. Mm-hmm. Just because you guys, they do that you guys both did, or the guy decided to dump you. So guys, be careful. Hmm? Anyways, let's move on. Dream now. I don't know if you guys are ready for this dream, but let's continue. Part 6. And this dream actually is interesting because now, if you guys saw some of my videos that I said growing up without a parents from part 1, I think up to part 3, is the fact that I grew up living with different relatives, different uncles, different aunties, different grandmas, So I was staying with this particular aunt. And the aunt, her husband was a minister, right? And the house was always full of people. The president visits sometimes, It was a very big house. There is always something happening. So, when I was younger, I loved 2 things. I loved candies and I loved fried fish. So, we lived in a very big flat. Not really. It's like a building. Like for example, in Canada, when you see buildings, usually it's a lot of people living in there and different tenants. No. The building we were living, we owned everything. A different floor is different people. It's like there's a other quarters where it is the gardener's quarter, the maid's quarter, then the visitor's quarter, right? And then you have the main family house, and then it's also divided into there's a VIP living room, there's a kids living room. There's like when I was growing up, in fact, you don't even step your foot in the visitors living room or the big people living room. Basically, we have like our own quarter. Kids quarter is like where the kids rooms, kids bedroom, living room, and like basically everything we need, it's in our quarter, and we have people catering for everything. So sometimes it will be days you don't even see the main people at the house because maybe they are working, they are coming back home late, and all that stuff. So anyways, this one time, we had all kind of visitors that were visiting, and I think it was election time was around the corner. So during that time, they say that the
Dream
president
number
was coming
8.
for dinner. The president was very close with my auntie's husband, the minister. So they said the president was coming, blah, blah, blah. And of course, they had to change our wardrobes, blah, blah, blah. It depends on the type of visitor. Okay, guys? So they wanted us to be prepared because the president is coming and whatnot. So it was usually when the president was visiting the house, it was fun time. Yeah, all kind of dishes and all that. We used to love it anytime the president visits. So anywho, I had a dream. In that dream, I saw that we attended a swearing-in ceremony. But the person that was being sworn in as president was not Uncle President, was not the guy that visits our house. It was someone else. That dream really disturbed me. I was like, So that means my uncle won't be prime minister? What's going on? So then, a few weeks later, we went back to school. So then I asked my teacher, because I was in elementary school at the time. I kind of knew things, not exactly, but the reason I knew a little bit about politics, not too much, is because when I was growing up, whether I was living in an uncle's house, auntie's house, whoever it is, anytime they get a newspaper, they'll make us kids read the newspaper. So every morning, they'll say, okay, go bring the new newspaper. We'll bring them the newspaper and they tell us to read it. Breaking news, you read the breaking news to them, you tell them what is happening. They'll be directing you, what happened in the sports section? You flip and read them the sports section. In entertainment, what is happening in entertainment? You tell them what is happening in entertainment. Yeah, so our job was to read newspaper. And then they'll just be, and then if there's a vocabulary that you are struggling with, then they will help you, right? So that is how I was really into reading, basically reading in general, but reading newspaper is because we were made to read newspaper. That was how it is growing up. And we were made to know every situation that is happening in the country. What is in the news, you have to, be in touch with what is happening. Otherwise, they're going to quiz you, ask you about certain things. So you need to be in touch with what is happening in the country. So I was kind of, into politics-ish. Yeah, so when I had that dream, it disturbed me. So I went and asked my teacher. I'm like, listen, I just have a quick question. If you're a prime minister and your president was not re-elected, can you still become a prime minister in the next person's, in someone else's presidency? He's like, no, it doesn't work like that. But it depends. It depends sometimes with the kind of role that you are in. If it's universal, then another president might still nominate you. But the other thing is, if you are also in an independent party, then your party can also run for an office, or maybe you guys can win a constituency, but also your party can also still be, the new president will still, of course, get someone from your party also into the house. I was like, okay. And I kept having this dream, but then when school closed, I went back and I said, Auntie, there's a problem. And it's like, what? I'm like, Auntie, I had a dream. I had a dream that Uncle's friend, the president, is not going to become president. Because I dreamed that we went to inauguration ceremony, and it was not him that was being, inaugurated as president. It was someone else that became the president. And then my auntie just walked away. I thought she was walking away from me. I was like, oh, my aunt is upset or something. So she went and brought different newspapers, and then she showed me different candidates. She's like, okay, of these people, who did you see in the dream that became a president? I appointed the person that became a president. It's like, you know what, it's just a coincidence, it's just a dream, don't take it serious, it's just a dream. So apparently she spoke to her husband. It's like, no, this child is saying that this other person is the one that is elected, and if you look at the polls, he's the one that is doing really well, blah, blah, blah. And I was still behind the door. And then my aunt is like, what are you doing there? I'm like, oh, sorry, auntie, I wanted to come and get some water. Then my aunt is like, come and get the water, what are you doing listening to big people talking? So then, of course, I ran. And then guess what, guys? When election happened when we were back in school. I don't know, of course, breaking news, then it was someone else that became president. I was like, damn, my uncle did not win. But even before the election, though, last minute, my uncle started his own political party. And then his political party was also represented in some of the seats, right? So, yeah, so I guess it was a good move that he registered his party last minute, and they also got in some seats and all that stuff. But anyways, and then one day I was just in school, it was visitation, my auntie came, and then my uncle, I was surprised, I'm like, my uncle's coming. Then I said, uncle, you're not at work, what are you doing here? Uncle's like, did you not see the news? My friend is no longer the president, so things are different. I'm looking for a job. I started laughing. I'm like, you looking for a job? Yeah, so anyways, and then my uncle's like, my auntie told me about your dreams, and I was like, uncle, it's just a coincidence, it's not. And then I was like, and then I started to downplay the dream and all that stuff. But anyways, so bottom line is, I had a dream of someone else becoming the president, and that person actually ended up becoming the president. Very weird. Anyways,